Hi, hello, I am Timothy, and this is the first video. I just might make an introduction video, maybe I should, regarding what the podcast is about and why I'm starting this. But it's beautiful experience, it's good stuff. And backstory before I get into the podcast, I had I had such an amazing experience working with my friends trying to set up a podcast because it was like a lot of back and forth. We need to get this done, or should we have this? Should we not have that? And I learned something super amazing, that it's actually possible to have imperfection and excellence coexisting. And by the way, imperfection was one of my the willingness to allow imperfections, one of my goals for the year. And it's beautiful to see that imperfection and excellence can actually coexist. So that's great stuff. We'll get to the real stuff now. Ah, for a while, I have been I've been wondering what it takes to win and what the concept of winning is. Winning as the idea that we all just want to win, winning with family, winning financially, winning with your babe, winning with your kids, just that sense of winning. Whatever it is, the process of winning, the joy of winning, the experience of winning is something we all crazy desire. And it's bogged my mind that what truly is what truly causes wins. How how do people win? You're Especially with the fact that I'm watching and seeing many people depressed, and many people broken, and many people in the lowest of states. And it's not as if they've not been trying to be the best version of themselves. It just feels like trying but never able to latch on as hard as you've tried and just never able to. And so in 2021, I was searching, and amongst some of the really nice books, yes, I default to books that I'm searching for something. I I found Atomic Habits, James Clear's book. Great book. It's an awesome book. It has very divergent thoughts. At least now I think it has divergent thoughts. But it did then. I mean, the most popular ones are the idea of focusing on systems and not goals, and the four quadrants: cues, cravings, response, and reward. Cool stuff. But then, but then, weeks after or months after, nothing worked. As I was super pissed at listening or reading a book and there was no result. As I just abandoned the book, and abandoned Atomic Habits, and just never cared to read the book again. I usually will go back and read a book once or twice if I think it's good enough. I just assumed there was a lot of hacks that weren't working. And this last year was 2023, depending on when you watch this video, this is 2024, January. Uh, Someone I deeply respect goes and says, you it was a meeting and says, you guys should check out Atomic Habit. It's a great book. And I have this weary look on my face, like, it's a good book. Okay. But obviously, out of deep respect, I considered and opened up and checked the book. No, I'm taking back that back. I didn't even decide I was going to check the book. A friend of mine, on her own accord, decided to send me a digital version of the book. So I was like, now I've got no choice. Synchronicities are after me. So I did. And started from the first chapter. And I actually went through the book. But I stopped at chapter two because at chapter two I realized it was something I missed all through the book when I read it first time. I don't know how I missed it. Was I blind? Couldn't I see? Was it shrouded? I don't know, but because I went through the rest, right? And none of the chapters would work if chapter two isn't working. And it was shocking, really shocking, because it was just one simple statement that defined or that changes the idea and that makes every other thing work. Identity. And I was curious, wondering why identity is that thin. And then the process of learning and trying to understand that, it dawned on me that identity isn't necessarily created first. It's given. And us as a people always receive identity. Every single person, every single person that has been amazing, whether Mother Teresa, whether Madiba, Mandela, or Steve Jobs, or some really amazing people, there's always been a point in time of their life when they actually went to go seek an identity. Always. And one of the most salient things they ever did was go seek out the highest form of identity they needed. Where they thought it was entirely different for some people. Mandela had a different experience. Steve Jobs had a different experience. But it was a sense of all of them going out to seek out an identity. And the craziest thing is this, that when you seek out identity, your entire job is to receive it. That's all it is. And I think for us as individuals and for the African content, that's where we've missed it. We've been so conscious about our actions, our habits, what exactly do we need to do, when the true essence is to receive an identity. Receive and know that identity. And that brings me to the second point. All of this meant what identity is first. Consciousness of identity is second. And this is how it is. This whole mathematical equation we always have of equals equals. Consciousness of identity is what equals our habits and actions. If we work our minds into a state where we are conscious of the identity we've now received, wherever you seek your identity from, subconsciously, your actions and your habits begin to follow that consciousness you've developed. And it changed my entire perspective of how we do things. That the entire job of us as people, again, as individuals and as the African continent, because this is who I'm concerned about, it's us I'm concerned about, is to understand what our identity is and work ourselves into white hot heat of the right consciousness of this identity. And that's where the magic happens. If there is anything I'm trying to say, and everything I would say with all the videos that will come on this podcast, they will layer on this foundation of what identity is. That we get the rightest form of identity and we keep our consciousness stayed on that identity.